Are you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan?
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR Indy car? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys have been learned to ride, Amy Houde.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Houde, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, getting ready to kick off what is one massive show today. A lot of winners on the line. Patrik Sandell, Red Bull Global Rallycross winner. We got Jared Mees taking home that X Games flat track gold medal. Ryan Sage with Formula Drift. Street Bike Tommy coming back on air after a big win. Joe Duncan from Terracross. I don't know, Amy, man. We have like every segment packed with people and all kinds of stuff to talk about. It's going to be a wild one.
Oh, heck yeah. We always have a jam-packed show. Viewers got tuned in every Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean, we got some interesting people on, that's for sure. I'm excited to talk to Tommy, though, today about, after his win. I think he was a little nervous, and I don't think he thought himself was going to win. So pretty stoked for that guy.
Yeah, for being a first rally, I'm going to be like your very first ever motocross race going out and winning.
No, you don't typically win.
Yeah, no, and I think he was thinking if he finished it would be a win, and here he goes, and the way he snuck in was literally with a stage to go. There was a penalty, he snuck in. I don't know. We got lots to talk about, Tommy, but I can tell you already he is going to be amped. But we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we've got some Baja and motocross to talk, and some big stories coming out of those communities this weekend. So all that and more here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, getting ready to kick off what is one big show. And, man, I don't know if there was a time change or what. I've had 2 of the guests call in already, and we've had to kick them out. Yeah, like, I don't know. There wasn't a time change that I know about, but everybody must be just excited to talk today. I don't know. You know,
of course.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't want to talk to us, right?
I know. I do.
Yeah.
I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. So, no, you know, kicking off the show, it's weird because, you know, it seems like we kicked off last week and it was a little bit, I don't know, kind of darker, and it seems like today we're doing the same thing. So before we roll into things, you know, I had this big planned Baja 500 segment. We're going to talk about all these winners. So first off, congratulations to all the winners. Tavo Vidosla took the overall. Amazing run there. Ronnie Wilson taking the Class 1 victory. Stephen Eugenio and Trophy Truck Spec. Gotta give a shout out to Matlocks who took the forced induction win in their Turbo RZR. Big storyline. His wife actually soloed in a RZR and finished. First woman ever to solo the Baja 500 in a RZR and finish. So big shout out to them. Yeah, especially with everything going down. So all that being said, man, talk about a dark event. 2 deaths in the motorcycle community due to heat exhaustion, from what I understand. There was a little boy who was a United States citizen, was down there with his dad, who happens to be a youth pastor, got run over by a trophy truck and passed away. And it wasn't the driver's fault. And, you know, that being said, I you know, to say it's a spectator's fault, you know, it was within the city limits in Ensenada. The police should have been more involved. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like every single one of these deaths at this event were preventable, and here we are with 3 people who passed away. And to me, it's just really sad, you know. And everybody at this point wants to point fingers and this, and it's the organizer's fault, and it's so and so's fault. And to me, it's like at this point, it doesn't matter who's at fault. I mean, these people have passed away, and I just find it really, really sad because I think it was preventable. And I know you and I were talking this weekend, and you know, on the same coin, there was 2 really bad injuries at your motocross race, and what you were telling me is, you know, those were totally preventable.
Yeah, you know, it's getting kind of scary, 2 wheels. It's just getting so dangerous, and I think that, you know, everybody's trying to point fingers at our race association because, again, like we were talking, these injuries could have been preventable. Apparently, I opted out this weekend. There's a little bit of controversy at my races last weekend where I actually got disqualified and black flagged for my transponder falling off, which is huge controversy. You do not black flag someone for their transponder falling off. You just go back and hand it to them. I mean, it was not like I duct taped it on. The clips broke, fell off. Not a big deal. I mean, I'm racing in women's class. It's easy to figure out who finished where. It is just huge controversy. And, you know, we kind of decided to boycott this particular race weekend, my family and I, and it was almost for good reasoning. The track, it's one of the most amazing tracks here in Canada. I'd like to say it was one of the rounds of the Canadian Nationals for years, and then the track, I think the track owners started to have kids. They just, you know, life changes, but they brought the track back this year, Morden. And there's actually 2 very scary jumps on this track. And all the riders in the morning were saying, like, you got to tame that jump down, you got to tame that jump down. It's, you know, in Manitoba motocross, when you're racing on a local level, very different than the Baja 500 or, you know, any pro outdoor national or supercross, the majority of the playing field here are amateurs. We have to take that into consideration that, you know, there's only 10 pros. The rest of the people are amateur racing levels and very beginner level. And you have to, you know, tailor a track based off that. And this jump was just too much and too scary. And a very good friend of our family's crashed, broke both of his femurs and broke his back. And, you know, he is unable to feel from his chest down. And then another pro, had crashed on that same jump. And then after that, the track promoters decide, or the race association decide to tame the jump down. And this is where I shake my head and say, you know, we are racing in a nonprofit organization where, you know, this is supposed to be for the riders, about the riders. They have to listen to us. They have to listen to our safety requests, especially if it's a safety request, not just something like, oh, make this jump bigger, do this. If the riders are asking to tame a jump down, I mean, you have to take that into consideration before, you know, an accident happens, not after. And I shake my head. I don't know what to do or say. I feel very helpless because I've been racing in this series for 24 years, and I've seen a progressive downhill in how it's run and managed. And I feel like there's nothing I can do unless I were to get involved, get on the board. But then again, like, you know, a lot of times you don't have a voice, and I feel really like lost and helpless about this whole situation, and I just don't really know what to do. I'm kind of racing elsewhere right now. I'm going to go down to the States, go over to Saskatchewan, just do a little different thing because I don't even know what I can do, and I just hope, you know, the two guys who crashed this weekend have a safe and speedy recovery, and it's just really too bad. And as a racer of the sport and seeing incidents like the Baja 500 and, you know, freestyle and motocross, you just think, when is too much enough? When will what's going to come into play to, you know, have some preventative actions? I just don't know. I honestly have no idea. We are pushing the boundaries in motorsports. Every year things get gnarlier, jumps get bigger, contests get crazier. It freaks me out knowing that I am one day going to be a mom of a little kid who races, or, you know, little boy or little girl. I'm now that I'm growing up and getting older, I think of all these things and I never thought of years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you have a daughter yourself. What's your thoughts about your kids racing, you know, hearing things like this? Like, I always, like, you know, I know that's a part of the sport. I'm an athlete. I get it. I understand. But then when there's things like a jump that me as a rider, I can't go down over there with a shovel and, like, take it off. And we are relying on our organizations to, you know, hear our requests, and we are helpless. Like, what's your thoughts being a dad on all this?
Yeah, well,
you have my first daughter out there on the racetrack that day.
Yeah, well, and it's a sticky situation. I know even with off road. I mean, me myself. I mean, I haven't raced Baja since 07. I've been down there multiple times since then, but haven't raced. And there was a reason. In 07, last time I raced down there was all kinds of red flags, and I go, you know, this just isn't safe anymore. People can say whatever they want, but in the United States, when I race my trophy truck, I can take off from Vegas and go to Reno, and I can 100% concentrate on the race and know that there's not going to be somebody in the middle of the track. There's going to be I can concentrate on driving, and when I race in Mexico, I can't do that. You can 90% concentrate on driving, and 10% of you is looking peripheral vision out. Hey, is there going to be somebody throwing a rock? Is there going to be a booby trap? Is there going to be a family of cars or a stroller across the road? So I've never been able to fully concentrate on racing in Mexico, and I can in the States. And I put it into perspective. I mean, it would be like the Indy 500, and all of a sudden, you know, somebody in the middle of the race, lap 157, decides to push a stroller with a baby across the middle of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you're going to have IndyCar drivers going left, right, darting, crashing into walls. That's Baja, and people don't really understand that. It's great. It's majestic. It's some of the best racing in the world, but it's also some of the most dangerous. And I removed myself from the situation, covered on the show, fully support it. I won't go down there for many, many reasons, you know, to race, you know, and you know, like you said, I think I feel helpless in this, you know, but you know, the biggest thing is, you know, in your motocross community there, 2 injuries that were preventable, 3 deaths at the Baja 500 that were totally preventable. It's just, you know, it's just a sad spot we're in.
Definitely. And it's funny. I feel like the Europeans got this stuff right. Have some of the World Championships, a race over here once a year. And I forget which round it was. I believe it might have been Glen Helen, but there's this really, really crazy, or Finn Valley or something, but there's a crazy uphill triple. And all of the Americans, like I'm talking top 20, top 30 of the Americans were hitting this uphill triple, and the top 5, the pro, the fastest, the elite of the elite European riders were not doing this jump because they do not have jumps over there like that. They have natural terrain that it's up to your riding ability, not your balls ability. How brave are you? How much can you swing it out there and hit this crazy uphill triple? And actually, the Europeans who asked the track promoters to take that jump, make it a double, make it a tabletop, because we are not comfortable riding like that. And when you have like a 30-place rider doing a jump and a top, first to third place, a European not doing the jump, it just goes to show that racing and the track designs are just getting out of control. And it's pretty interesting to hear different countries' perspectives on the whole thing. So that was a really interesting thing I learned the other day.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. Up next, we got GRC Curtain Call with your winner from Dallas, Patrik Sandell. All that and more here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to kick off our new segment that we started a couple of weeks ago after GRC Phoenix. This is Red Bull Global Rallycross Curtain Call. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, Mr. Patrik Sandell. Big winner coming out of Dallas this weekend. How is everything going, Patrik?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. We really had a great weekend up in Dallas.
Yeah, and I got to say this, especially last year. I mean, you've been really, really fast since you came into Red Bull Global Rallycross. But last year, you started putting it all together, and some of the speeds that we saw out of you. I mean, there was you, and there was Block, and then there was the 2 Volkswagens, and it was like you guys were on another level. And you had a little bit of bad luck last year, but coming into Phoenix, I mean, you were really, really fast once again. I mean, it's got to feel really good for you here, right out of the box to be putting things together in 2016.
No, absolutely. Last year was the first year for Brian Houde Autosport in rally. They just been in IndyCar forever, so it was kind of new to them, and it was the first year for us together as a team. So it took some time for us to how to work together and how to put it all together. So, and we also ran into some bad luck during last season. That was unfortunate, but now during this off season, the guys have really been working hard and really put it together. So I will not say that I'm surprised that we started off good, because I knew we had a fast car from last year, and the guys have only been able to make it even faster during the winter. So, but definitely I'm so happy that we can be up there fighting with other guys.
Yeah. Well, and talk about that. I mean, because I know Andreas, has been a good friend of yours for quite some time. You came into Red Bull Global Rallycross a couple years ago with him, last year making the switch to Houde. I mean, with this brand new team, I mean, how was that for you? I mean, were there any nerves going to a brand new team? I mean, Houde, obviously, like you said, I mean, they've been accomplished in IndyCar. Brian himself is a phenomenal race car driver. I mean, had to have you pretty excited going to a new team.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the biggest reasons why I did that change and that move was because me and Andreas, as you say, we are longtime friends, and we come from the same background. And Brian Houde comes from a completely different background. So he's a racing guy. He knows exactly how to tune in the car to find a tenth here and there. And me and Andreas, we are rally guys. So we think in seconds, and race car teams and drivers think in tenths. So it was the perfect combination for me to go into the Brian Houde Autosport and be a part of that and see how they are working with details and all the small things that in the end makes a huge difference. And that in combination with my background as a rally driver have really turned out something special.
Yeah. Well, and I know your background, is predominantly, on gravel rally, and you still do some gravel rallies here and there, traditional stage rally. I mean, how was that for you to transfer, going from being a stage rally guy, a few years ago into rallycross? I mean, what kind of differences? I mean, how was that, the learning experience? I mean, because it had to have been, almost to an extent, relearning how to drive all over again in this new motorsport format.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's two completely different things. Okay, the cars are very similar, but the way you have to drive those cars, to drive them fast on the tires that we are supplied here in America, you need to drive the car as a race car driver. You need to be so precise all the time, and you cannot attack the corner the way I'm used to, where you can come in more or less sideways to every corner, because then you're just losing a lot of time. So I definitely had to adapt my driving style, and it took quite some time to get used to it, and I've been doing a lot of go-karting the last couple of summers just to find that feeling for not sliding all the time, just finding the momentum and really roll speed through corners, and that have really helped. And that in combination with working with Brian that have this background have also made the final small changes that have made us as a package really fast the last year now.
Yeah, well, and that's, like you'd mentioned earlier, that's got to be part of what's really making things work. I mean, you come from this extensive, rally and gravel background, and, you've got Houde with this amazing background with, all things road racing, and to merge that, I mean, the development going into this car, being able to, grab from your gravel background and his tarmac background, it's had to been tremendous in helping develop this car.
Absolutely, absolutely, and also one thing that I was definitely not used to before was to doing everything over and over again and do it perfectly, because in stage rally you drive from A to B, and here after 45 seconds or a minute you're back at where you started, and then you have to do it perfectly again for another lap and another lap, and that was also one thing that maybe I was not so good at the beginning because I never really done it, but that's also something that that Brian Hurd and the team have really like helped me out with, and not only finding a car that I would say that in racing you always try to find a car that is super fast and sometimes maybe a bit hard to drive, and in stage rally you're always aiming for a car that is easy to drive because conditions are changing all the time. And I would say that rallycross is exactly somewhere in the middle, and I think I have moved my team in the direction to having a more comfortable car to drive than only having a car that is really, really fast if you do it right. Because in rallycross, things are changing a lot, and there's 9 other guys there in the final that want to go for the same line as you in the first corner. So you need to have an easy car to drive.
Yeah, well, and you know, that being said, talking about going for the same line, I mean, you know, you come from your background where, you know, it's you against the clock, and you know, if you beat the other guy's clock, you know, you're generally you know, golden there. But you know, coming into rallycross, like you said, you know, sometimes there's a really good line and you've got everybody competing for it, so you got to be smart and know, hey, I don't have a shot at that. Maybe you can tuck inside or outside and make a pass. And I mean, how has that changed for you going from you know, being all alone to now, you know, battling door to door with 10 other guys?
It's been a big thing actually going into that, and in the beginning I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know, okay, is this should I go for this line or should I not? I know that I can control that car going into the corner in any direction because I'm so used to drive those cars on so many different conditions. So that has never been a big problem, but drive through traffic have been something I was struggling with before. But I've also been going through a couple of different spotters, and now I have a Swedish friend with me, Matthias, that is an all-time friend, and we know each other since 10 years, and he's been my spotter the first 2 weekends this year, and he will be my spotter for the year, and we have really worked out a system. So he's talking quite a lot on me on the radio because I'm so used to having a navigator sitting next to me and explaining it all. So he's on the microphone all the time.
Okay. Well, you know, and I know, you know, the transition for you, you know, coming from Europe, I know, you know, you were one of the guys, and I've always respected this about you. You said, hey, if I'm going to go and run, you know, rallycross in the United States, I'm going to, you know, eat, sleep, breathe this sport. And, you know, you uprooted, you moved here, and you know, you were all in. And I've always admired that about you. You know, a lot of guys would have stayed overseas and just traveled back and forth. And you were like, no. You picked things up. You moved over here and said, hey, during the season, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to, you know, be all in.
Yeah. No, definitely. I never do anything 99%. I always want to do everything as perfect as I can. And there's so much things going into motorsport, and I'm just a small part of it, but I would like to do everything I can to optimize my own performance. And, you know, flying back and forth for every weekend, you're always jet lagged for the whole season. You cannot really be there with your team to develop the car. So this season I also moved up from Charlotte up to Indianapolis just to be able to go in with the guys and sit down with the boys every week in the shop and see if there's any details we can work on, any ideas we have together. And really, it's, you know, we are a big family, and we need to help each other and support each other. And we have really created a fantastic feeling inside the team now, and everybody really feels that they are a part of this last victory, and that is so important.
Yeah. Well, and I know, you know, part of that victory, you know, comes, you've had, you know, a major corporate sponsor, you know, come in a few years ago, Lowe's and Cobalt Tools, and they've been with you for quite some time. I mean, how is that relationship? And they've got to be thrilled to death. I mean, you know, you're sharing teammates with, you know, with Jimmy Johnson with Lowe's. I mean, that's got to be something special for you. I mean, how has it been working with Cobalt Tools and Lowe's?
No, absolutely fantastic. They have been an amazing partner to me since my first season here in America, and we have a lot of fun together. They have really high expectations, and that's Jimmy's fault because he's been fairly successful in NASCAR. So they are very used to win. And they said that right away, and I'm just trying to not making them disappointed. So I'm just trying to be up there all the time, and they know this is a new sport, and they know that there's always a learning curve for a driver in a new sport, but they are very thrilled on what we're doing. And Red Bull Global Rallycross really attracts the younger demographics, and that's what they are looking for. And they see Red Bull Global Rallycross as a good tool for them to to marketing their brand, Cobalt Tools.
Yeah. So, looking at 2016, obviously, coming off a victory, what's it going to take to put it all together this year and make the long run at, the 2016 championship?
I still think, even though it's been the same guys up in the top the first 3 races, I still think you have to be consistent. If you start to drop back too much, or if you start to not finishing races, I think you put yourself in a bad position. So, if you can stay up there being top 5 in every final, then that will really, really help you in the end. And it's a really tough championship. There's so many really good drivers, and in the end, consistency. That's the key to win a championship. It have always been, and I think it will always be.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good place to leave things. Congratulations, on Dallas. Looking forward to seeing you at Daytona here in a couple of weeks, and hopefully you guys can keep the momentum up, and many more podiums to come, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's the plan.
All right. Thank you, Patrik. And that's what Red Bull Global Rallycross Curtain Call is all about. Your big weekend winner, Patrik Sandell, on the line. And, talk about a great way to kick off 2016, taking a 2nd and a 4th in Phoenix, followed up by a 1st in Dallas, currently sitting 2nd in points. Man, they are firing on all cylinders heading into Daytona here in a few weeks. And we're going to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Back after this.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound of the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Kick off the summer at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slot machines, table games, poker, and bingo. Earn points as you play and redeem your points for discounts at our restaurants, for free slot play, for lodging, and more. Plus, members of the club can participate in our promotions for a chance to win cash and prizes. Book your hotel at Blue Water today. Sunday to Thursday room rates start at $94.95 now to the end of summer based on availability.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, getting ready to kick off our Formula Drift post-event interview. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, Mr. Ryan Sage of Formula Drift. How's everything going, Ryan?
Hey, what's going on, Jim? How are you?
Man, long time no talk, buddy. It's good to have you back on air.
Yeah, good to be on. It's I think since the beginning of the season. I think this was the last time we chatted.
Yeah, it's been a bit, but Formula Drift, man, you guys never cease to blow my mind. I mean, it just seems like your presence in the motorsports community. I mean, I travel a lot hosting events and things like that, and I get wind of different series and some have peaks and valleys, but it seems like year in and year out. I mean, Formula Drift, you guys not only continue to deliver great events and great competition, but it seems like your footprint in the motorsports community just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, I mean, it's even after 13 years, there's still a lot of people that don't really know exactly what we do, and so one of our primary jobs is to try to educate people, motorsports fans and non-motorsports fans alike. We feel that we bring something unique to the table because we're probably the only motorsports group that I think can really argue that has the demographic that people are really trying to go after, and that's at 18 to 34. So, we've been pretty lucky with that, and we're continuing to grow and make good strides. So, yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, well, and that being said, I mean, man, we're jumping right the gun because I had a bunch of questions on you, and it was basically, a lot of it was geared towards, the 18 to 34 demographic. I mean, I know, looking at the numbers for this show, I mean, that is our demographic, and Formula Drift mirrors that, and it seems like every motorsport in the country now, I mean, whether it's action motorsports or whether it's, traditional, whether it be NASCAR, drag racing, IndyCar, they all are wanting this demographic, but it seems like Formula Drift, I would say you guys and maybe Supercross are the two that really have delivered huge. And I know you guys were some of the first to really invest in a legit TV quality live stream. And, I know your numbers just continue to explode there in the online market.
Yeah, the key for us has really been identifying what our market was from the onset, and then what those people gravitate towards. And our audience is a huge online audience. They're definitely very active in that space, and so we've tried to cater to that and putting a lot of resources into not only our live stream but also traditional media as well. We have the CBS TV show, and we're very, very active on social media. And so that's one of the things I think that separates us. I mean, the problem of motorsports is basically, an aging demographic. And so I think drifting and Formula Drift is partly a solution to that, in trying to not only encourage people to look at our sport, but also to get them interested in motorsports in general so that we have an active audience, going into the future. And, with the nature of drifting that it's, very fast paced and you get a payoff every 30 seconds, it really appeals to a younger crowd.
Yeah, and I've said that a long time, and I think you and I have talked in the past. It's no knock on traditional motorsports, but I think, the time where, on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, people sitting down for 4 to 5 hours in front of their TV set and watching a 500-mile race, there was a time and a place for that, and I'm sure there still is, obviously, because I see their numbers, but I think this generation, I mean, it's a lot to ask for somebody to sit for 4 to 5 hours in front of their TV and watch a race unfold.
Yeah, and I think you definitely see that people in traditional motorsports recognize that, and they're certainly making changes to try to identify how they can attract a younger audience. And luckily for us, that's kind of what we've been embedded with from the beginning. And so our process now is to keep those fans entertained, bring new fans into the market, but also try to convince traditional motorsports fans and traditional motorsports companies that Formula Drift is a very viable market for them to participate in. And so, it's been a task to get people to understand that, because what we do in some sense is very much the antithesis of motorsports. It's not about how fast you get from point A to point B, and that's basically what all of motorsports is. So trying to educate people about the nature of the sport, how the judging works, how these cars are built, why they're so awesome. I mean, these cars nowadays are the highest horsepower stock chassis vehicles in the world that are competing in our sport. I mean, we've got guys that are running basically tires that you can buy off the shelf and 1,200 horsepower, So, and that's not uncommon. That is almost like the standard operating procedure in the series these days. And so that brings a lot of interesting things to the mix. But it's one of the things that makes us unique.
Yeah, and that being said, I know it's one thing I've always loved about Formula Drift. In 10 years, you guys have gone, 10 plus years at this point, but you've gone from guys that were, literally like home built, garage builds that were drifting, to now, you guys have literally, cars that are being built with engineers and, and these motor packages. These are engines that are being built alongside, Le Mans engines and things like that. To me, that's tremendous growth in just a decade. And to see these cars up close and personal, they're every bit as, as engineered as, some of these exotic cars you see in road racing.
Yeah, it's been fascinating to watch the fabricators and builders really kind of put their effort into designing vehicles that fit within the constraints of our rule book. And I use that term lightly because we are definitely not a spec series. We have a great challenge in front of us to help create parity amongst a field of drivers that have just a wide array of diversity, not only from manufacturer, OE manufacturer, but also to tire manufacturer, and everything in between. And since there's no power limiters, there's basically, a wide array of things that you can do to your vehicle, plus the tire manufacturer of your choice. You really have to try to find a fine line in order to help create parity in the series. And we've been able to do a pretty good job of that. When you have a 900 horsepower Mustang competing against a 1200 horsepower, say FRS, for example, or something like that. That is a classic diversity play. Here's a 4-cylinder vehicle versus an 8-cylinder vehicle, and they're competing against each other on a course and driving within inches of each other. I think that's a pretty interesting thing.
Yeah. Well, and I know, talking about the diversity of vehicles, I know, we had Tanner on, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and and he was talking about his Formula Drift build, and and how Volkswagen, it was kind of, they were a little bit reluctant, and it was something that Tanner, they kind of just forced it. No, we're going drifting, and Volkswagen went along with it, and he says now, he says that they see the global audience that Formula Drift brings, and in the online space, and he's like they're totally just thrilled to death with our involvement in Formula Drift at this point in time. He's like, but he's like, it's one of the few motorsports, that really, it transcends borders. There's a lot of motorsports that are popular here in the United States. You get over to Europe and people don't care about them, and same thing in Europe. But Formula Drift is one of the few. That it seems like there is no borders. You guys have a true world championship now, and and fans from every corner of the globe.
Yeah, well, I myself have experienced that personally, in going to a lot of our overseas events and looking at the way that drifting is perceived and how it operates in other parts of the world. And there's just something about seeing a car go sideways, putting up a big white plume of smoke and, having to, cover your ears because the decibels are so high. And there's just something visceral about that, I think, that appeals to people. Even if you don't know anything, you walk into an event. For years I was trying, when we were starting this company, I was trying to, help my parents understand what it was. And, they soon got the hang of it. And, now they've got their own favorite drivers and all that kind of stuff. But, they, from the onset, just using an external perspective and not even being as part of our core demographic, would watch a run and would basically get the gist of it. Hey, that guy looks like he won. They may not understand the nuance, but they basically were able to kind of more or less be in line with the way that the judges were actually judging. And I think that that's an interesting thing because you don't necessarily have to be an expert in the sport to understand what's going on course. And there's some sort of universal appeal to that, I believe.
Yeah. Well, and talking with guys like Vaughn, who we've had on the show in the past, he said, he's like, a lot of people, a judge to motorsport doesn't make a lot of sense, but he's like, to our demographic, he says, we grew up with action sports and skateboarding and BMX and things like that. They've all been judged. He's like, so, a judged motorsport isn't that foreign to us. We get it. Sometimes, other people coming in that, aren't from, this generation, they go, what? A motorsport that's judged? But, to people that have grown up with action sports, it's just, it's just another sport.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely a really good point. most of the audience that we have are people that understand subjectivity, or at least subjective judging. And so that it's not too foreign to them, and they can basically get the gist of it. I mean, we actually, while we look at that as one of the defining factors that makes us different, we also, are pursuing and want to bring more objective data points into the judging realm, because the sport has been getting so fast and so crazy, and the cars are just so incredible that there's a ton of data points that we could take from the vehicles, not just basic stuff like angle or acceleration, deceleration, but many other things that could be used to help us understand what's going on with these cars, when they're basically covered in a cloud of white smoke and it's really hard to see what's going on. And I think that that'll be the next logical progression for us, is to adopt some of those things. And that may help traditional motorsports fans and companies maybe get more interested in the big picture of drifting, and not necessarily look at it as kind of a fatty type thing, because that's been something that we've been dealing with for 13 years. And it's crazy to say that, that's something that we still deal with, but a lot of people still don't necessarily understand exactly what they do or how that they can be involved in it. And so we've obviously catered to younger demographic companies that understand why this demographic is so important for motorsports. I could tell you even, recent example, when we send out sponsorship proposals, sometimes we'll get a response back saying, "Oh, hey, we're not interested in motorsports because our demographic is 18 to 34. And we have to explain to them, well, that's what our demographic is. And so, there's still a lot of work for us to do, but, we're having a lot of fun doing it, and it's been a pretty fun ride so far.
Yeah. So, I got to ask you, and I never have really asked this question, but, what's next? What's the direction, say, 5 years out for Formula Drift? Because, on the outside, you guys are, have a highly successful live stream, great fan attendance at events. You guys have a world championship now. You have a TV package. What direction, 3 to 5 years out, where is Formula Drift headed? Because, you guys are, in all sense, knocking it out of the park as we speak.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think, the best way to answer that without going too long here is we are basically identifying what our core business should be within the next 5 years. And it's not too different than what we have now, but it's really about trying to create sustainable growth and also help the drivers with their programs so that we can continue to do the things that we want to do. I think in terms of the number of events, we're pretty close to equilibrium. I think, 8 events domestically plus some international stuff is probably where we want to go. We want to put more resources into content generation. We want to put more resources into helping build drivers and their programs and things like that. But I don't think that the face of drifting or the face of Formula Drift will change too much. It's really going to be a lot of the moves that we're going to be making behind the scenes in trying to get an international consortium of sorts of technical regulations, sporting regulations, and making the ability for drivers in other parts of the world that want to come and compete in Formula Drift an easier task. Technical regulations are something that a lot of people outside of our series have been slowly adopting over the year, because we have what people consider to be kind of the most comprehensive technical regulations. But that being said, there's still quite a few series that are not necessarily at the level that we're at and would like to get there. So we're trying to help them create a rule book that can kind of be universal across all countries and all boundaries. And so those will be some of the things that we'll really focus a lot of effort on, besides just the continued growth of the domestic and international events.
Awesome. Well, we're short on time, my friend, but I appreciate you taking the time to call into the Formula Drift post-event interview, and I'm sure we'll do it a few more times this year and cycle in some drivers as well.
All right, Jim. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ryan. That was Ryan Sage with Formula Drift, and we'll be back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR after this break.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at MTX.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And, Ryan Sage. Always fun to catch up with my buddy Ryan Sage here on the show. Also, Patrik Sandell there in those first couple segments, Amy Houde and I. But got to get to a few results in this quick break. Motocross, Pro Motocross. Man, it has all been Ken Roczen absolutely dominating Ryan Dungey this past round, going 1-1. Dungey 2-4. Eli Tomac a 5-2. That's your top three there in Pro Motocross this past weekend. And then we had Joey Savacci taking the win. Jeremy Martin, Alex Martin 1, 2, and 3. Big weekend for Pro Motocross, big weekend for all motorsports. And then you had those Baja 1000 winners that we mentioned to start the show. Gus Fedosula Jr., Ronnie Wilson, Steven Eugenio, Jeff Proctor, Pat Daly. Big shout out to my boy Pat. Aaron Ampudia, Ramon Bayo taking a victory there. Oliver Flemente. Class 5, we had Victor Cessna. Heavy metal is Carlos Fonseca. We had Dallas Luttrell, Wayne Matlock, John Estrada, Rodolfo Martinez, JP De Villiers. Pro Motorcycles, it was Colton Ullall with that overall victory, and Mark Winkleman taking a victory there as well. So, lots of winners down there in Baja. It's just a grueling track. 120-some plus degree temperatures definitely made things interesting. But we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have a Dirtfish Rally report coming at you right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And, man, we're going to kick off a Dirtfish Rally Report coming at you from our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web, www.dirtfish.com. And, yeah, they've got some Father's Day specials going on right now. Later on in June, Father's Day, you're looking for something from your dad, your grandpa, your husband, whoever you've got in mind. I guarantee you they're going to be happy with anything you bring them from Dirtfish Rally School up there in Snoqualmie, Washington. I can't wait to get back up there later this summer. And slide some Subarus around for sure. But, man, big news, Rally America this weekend. A lot of rally action happening. Rally America, and it was a good one. That is for sure. David Higgins, Craig Drew taking the victory. Pastrana ended up having some problems, man. Banged a tree earlier on in the rally, got the car going, ended up putting it over on its roof. So definitely a rough go for Travis Pastrana and Christian Edstrom there in their factory back Subaru. But his teammates David Higgins, Craig Drew taking the win. They're actually headed to China. David Higgins filling in for his brother Mark Higgins there in China at an event, because Mark Higgins is now at the Isle of Man, absolutely destroying records in his factory Subaru built by ProDrive. So look at those YouTube videos. Just Google Mark Higgins Subaru. It's all over social media at this point in time. He's got a factory back ProDrive they built special to attack the Isle of Man TT, and he's destroying the records. It's crazy. Driving ability is just top notch. National Limited Open, Seamus Burke, Martin Brady, second overall, and taking that NLO win. We had Troy Miller, Jeremy Miller taking the SP win in that third spot on the national podium, sneaking by Nick Roberts, who ended up having a mechanical issue on the final stage of the rally. And then two-wheel drives in the top 5 overall. Cameron Steele besting Ryan Millen. Man, they're having a shootout each and every round this year. Great to watch that battle unfold. And then looking farther down the list, Street Bike Tommy taking the B-Spec win. Who would ever thought we'd see Street Bike Tommy? We would see Street Bike Tommy as a Rally America winner in his first ever rally. I don't know. He's my buddy, but I didn't even see that coming. So big shout out to him for making that happen. And then Red Bull Global Rallycross, obviously Patrik Sandell taking the victory there, followed by Steve Arp and Tanner Faust. And then looking at GRC lights, we had Oliver Erickson, Cabot Bingham, and Tanner Whitney, 1, 2, and 3 in GRC lights. So great racing there. We're going to take a short commercial break. That was our Dirtfish Rally Report. When we come back, we're going to have Joe Duncan from Terracross and Amy Hood and myself going to be talking all kinds of X Games and RZRs and whatnot. So all that and more here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP 1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, and we got Amy Houde, Joe Duncan on the line, and welcome to the show, my friend Joe. I know you've been slumming it down there in X Games in Austin, right?
Yeah, slumming it. A little bit of water logged, and then a lot of sun for the last day to kick off the last moto events down there.
Yeah. I feel bad for X Games, man. They've got this tremendously amazing venue in Austin, Texas. And the past couple of years, man, it's just weather in Austin, I'm sure, is beautiful 99% of the time. And it's like they want to do X Games. It's like, we're going to rain. We're going to have winds that are blowing 50 miles an hour. It's like X Games rolls around and then everything hits the fan, man.
Well, when they went into this down there, they're saying, these are last year. They said those are like 500-year record-breaking rains. Well, they had 500-year record-breaking rains 2 years in a row now. So, little bit of a pain in the arse, and lot of great hard work by all the crews down there. What an amazing job the whole staff did down there. The whole X Games staff and all the sport organizers down there to fight through everything and try and pull off the whole thing. Unfortunately, some of it, the big air was not able to happen, but the motocross, if you would have been standing down there a few hours before that event went off, you would have said, there's no way this is going to happen. And that crew, that course crew, and that operations crew down there, wow, did they do an amazing job to make that thing happen and pull off all three events there on Sunday. And fortunately for me, I got to be a part of it. I got to go down and hang out with the crews and help on the start line and be on board down there. So.
Yeah, it's you talk about crews and stuff like that. And you're praising X Games. I gotta give a little credit to the Terracross crew because there's been some events I've shown up to, and we're supposed to be racing the next day, and I'm looking at this track going, well, there's not much of a track here. Like
Glamis.
Yeah,
how to build a track in the desert, in the middle of the desert, out of sand. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I'm going, there's no way we're going to have a race here, Joe. What are you talking about? And the next day I show up to the track, and here's this beautiful course build. I mean, where did that come from? It's like the race car fairy came and sprinkled her magic dust, and a track popped up or something, you know?
Yeah, well, Jason Luberg and Dana Creech and Billy Young and Hubert Rowland really worked some magic last year and pulled off some great courses, and some time restraints on some of them were pretty tight. You know, we couldn't get into Glamis down there till late with all the permits and everything you have to do to run the event down there, and in the end we actually had to move some things at the last minute, and then that moved the course, and those guys just really did a great job. And then we had never built a course in a pure sand area, and the creative ideas that everybody came up with, Jeremy and the guys and myself, and to be able to pull it off, not knowing if it's going to work or not work, and they knocked it out of the park. And what a great course that ended up to be at the end.
Yeah, just some tremendous ones. The thing I loved about Terracross last year was every single venue we went to was completely different. They had some of the same elements, with the Mystic Mangler and stuff like that, but each one of them had their own unique identity. It wasn't like you repackaged it in different spots. I mean, and different drivers, aside from Luberg, it seemed like excelled at each one. Luberg, he just is good at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, and that's kind of the model we're trying to do is each event has something different, and it plays the different drivers' benefits and their weaknesses. So it does create some different style of driving, and some as much as possible the best competitive racing in these spec Polaris RZR 1000.
Yeah. Well, in talking about the best racing, I know, we've talked about the entry list for this year, but I swear, Joe, every event I'm at, everywhere I go, I get somebody asking me. I was on another call, and it's not something to talk about on air, but with a sanctioning body interested in Terracross, and hey, how do we bring that to our events and things like that? And it's crazy what you've built. I mean, I tip my cap to you each and every week, buddy, because the work that you and Jeremy have put in. Terracross is really, in the motorsports world, people are taking notice, and the drivers are wanting to get involved. It's tremendous.
Well, again, it's not us. It's everybody. It's what you guys do. It's what Polaris does. It's what with all the media that are involved, the great media that are on board with us. It's what everybody does together, and we do it as a team. That's why we have racers building the track, so it's the best for the racers. That's why we have the media up on the racers and part of the racers, and they sponsor racers, so they get the exposure, and it's fun. It's not something stressful. You don't have to drive a truck and trailer halfway around a country and be there 4 days in advance and be there 2 days afterwards. The whole concept is about the racers and about celebrities and about the action sports stars, and that's shows in the people that want to come and play with us. And I think, again, being down at X Games and talking to a bunch of the athletes down there and talking to some of their agents and some potential partners, they see this as an opening for them to get more exposure with television, bring their sponsors on board, and an affordable and an easy product or race environment to jump into, and it's not going to cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars in their life savings.
Yeah, well, I know that's what I love about it, just be able to, fly in, fly out. In Amy's case, she gets to drive into some of the events, and it's kind of nice,
One of them. Yeah. The cool thing about starting something from nothing, Joe, is that you can really watch it grow year after year after year. Like most people kind of, start their own series of something already that's established, so they have typically a huge benchmark. But again, it's awesome starting from nothing, because you can literally grow this as big as you'd like to. And every year, in these last 2 years, it's just getting bigger and bigger. It's almost like doubled this year, it seems like, just with the, the people involved. It's it's crazy. Just from last year alone, it's awesome, making huge strides.
Yeah, again, it goes back to the ease of entry and the cost-effective way to come into it. And we're not rocket science; it's racing, and we just took a lot of great things from other venues and other events and put them all into one, and then again made it affordable and fun. And that's a lot of racing has lost that, like literally completely lost it. It's either way too expensive to get in, or there's no even the entry level to get in is so expensive that you're not going to bring these guys in, and you're not going to get them excited, and you're not going to grow it, because by the time you get somebody in, they've already used up all their money and they're getting out when the next guy comes in.
Yeah. So, and also a huge thing is the fun factor. Like, if you're racing on a professional level, unless you're winning, there ain't no fun factor. And even for me, at a local level, we talked about this earlier, Jim and I, that, our series, because of how dangerous it is just lacking the fun factor. And so this is like a breath of fresh air, honestly. It really is. I can still do what I want to do. I can still go out there and be competitive, but I can have fun. And it's such a relief almost.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, it just goes back to that atmosphere. So thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, I was going to say we got about 30 seconds left, so we gotta let you go, my friend. But big Terracross news dropping within the next week, right?
Yeah, done deal. As soon as they give me the approval, actually there'll be two big announcements next Tuesday on air. As soon as they have the approval for the press release, it'll go out, and we'll have that on air next Tuesday.
All right, sounds good, Joe. Thanks a lot, my friend.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. All right, we'll be back after this commercial break. We got X Games gold medalist Jared Mees coming up next.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP 1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at MTX.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle. Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best test and get an edge on the competition? Or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel? Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, waiting on our buddy Jared Mees, X Games gold medalist, to call in. And I got to say, Amy, we don't do much flat track on here, but I'm pretty excited to have Jared calling in here in just a second. I mean, flat track, man, that's some legit racing right there.
Oh, definitely. And I had one little petite experience of racing flat track. I've said before on the show that I used to go down and race arena cross in the winter with my dad, and there was actually the track that we raced at. There was a flat track around the outside of the arena cross, and it was really fun because we would drive in early, and my dad and I, with obviously with our motocross bikes, would jump in the flat track classes, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoy it, and I mean, I guess you can say my ice racing is a form of flat track because we're racing the 500 around a huge ice oval, and when we race on oval. I normally practice on like a road racing style course, but I mean, I am going at least 112 miles per hour, diving into those corners. I can only imagine how these guys are feeling, because they're on like a short course and going 80, 90, 100 miles per hour. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you. How close is, your ice racing? Because to me, it looks, obviously the bikes are different, but it looks a lot of the same. I mean, how much, with the studs in your tires, how much slippage do you guys get on the ice, or do they hook up pretty well? You
got solid hookup. You can literally you can lick the ice and be completely sideways down on the ground, and we run studs like all the way up the sidewall of the tire. Like, you can. I'm not kidding. You can lick the ice. Like, that's how close you guys get, and it's pure traction. It's pure hookup. Everyone thinks you're going to slide and, crash, and it's safer than any motocross race I've ever done. You just got to watch out for the snow. Like, if you're riding on clean ice, hookup is just unreal. Like, it's so sick. You literally come in, like, down the straightaway in fifth gear and then just throw the bike down, and you can go around the outside in fifth, fourth gear. Like, it's wide open, and it's pretty funny because we race a DT 500, a Honda 500. I have a couple DTs as well, but a new 500. Yeah. And my dad, and it's the fastest bike out there. Let me first tell you that. Like, I'm not
Hold on,
saying
Amy.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to cut you off here. We're welcome to.
Jared.
Yeah, we got Jared Mees on. We're sitting here battling on. We got X Games gold medalist Jared Mees on the line. How's everything going, my friend?
Great, guys. How are you?
Oh, doing good, but not as good as you. I got to say, I mean, I know it's been all over the media at this point after you clinched gold, but how good did it feel this year to get gold after basically, I don't know how much closer you can be to gold as you were last year, and then, and it wasn't even anything you did that caused you to lose gold. It was just a crazy mechanical issue. I mean, how good did it feel to come back and win that gold medal this year?
I think it probably felt better than what it could have felt to win it in the very beginning, just because it was like a bittersweet. But it was good. I had my sights set on that since the beginning of the year, and unfortunately, at the beginning of the week of the X Games, it didn't even look like we were going to get on the track at all because of the weather. I mean, I was boarding a plane Tuesday, and a buddy of mine, Kenny Coolbeth, says, "Man, it's pouring down here. I don't see it happening." And the guy that puts on or helps put on the event, Dan Johnson, works for the ESPN. He says, "Man, I don't know. We got a very small window to make it happen." And so fortunately, we were able to. The rain held off, and we were able to put on a good show. And the racetrack was better than I've ever seen it. It was my third time on the track, so it was good. Everything that could have happened went well for us, and we won the race. It was a good show. Kenny ended up kind of reeling me down there at the end of the race and pulled out slightly at the very end, so it was a good race, a good show. It kept everybody on the edge of their seat. no malfunctions this year. We definitely made sure we had the problem that happened last year. We definitely had a insurance policy this year for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how is
Here's
it?
redemption.
Yeah, how has it been for you? I mean, flat track's been around for a long time, and and it's got hot pockets in the country, in certain areas of the country. I mean, it's huge, and you guys, it's some amazing racing. I mean, how has it been having X Games now? The past 2 years, bringing flat track in, and I guess the year before that, it wasn't a medaling event; it was kind of a demo, I think. But how has it been? I mean, for your sport to now all of a sudden, be primetime live ESPN. I mean, how has it been as you as an athlete? I mean, have you felt the new fan following come in?
Definitely. I mean, just more people recognizing what flat track is. I mean, friends from high school are messaging me like, dude, I just seen you on TV win gold. I mean, I can't believe it, man. I sat in the same classroom as you, and I was in the bank this morning, and I had 4 or 5 of the bank ladies that of course I've seen a lot since I've lived here, come up and, oh man, we seen you over the weekend, we seen you on TV, that's awesome, congrats. And it's like, golly, I won 4 championships now, and people don't really understand, unless you're a flat track fan, you don't really understand what the Grand National Championship means. But the X Games Gold, how good a job ESPN does to promote it and bring it up to life, it was that was everything. That was huge for flat track and myself. And flat track is making a really good push right now and a comeback. AMA Pro Racing is working harder than ever and has more hunger to make our sport better than what it has been in the past couple of years. And like a lot of the super prestigios and things like that overseas with Marquez and with X Games and even the Harley-Davidson Motor Company, they're even putting a lot of effort into flat track as well. I mean, all honestly, everything is set aside. If it wasn't for the motor company, we wouldn't probably be in X Games. So, it's a big group effort, and everybody's making a huge push for flat track to be what it should be, and it's finally starting to show.
Yeah.
It's a really good show, too. I had the opportunity. I was watching the Daytona 200, and you guys, participated in the same parking lot. So at nighttime, we went all over and watched the flat track event. And, just having all the athletes come out, you guys got a huge stage. Just the show that you put on at the actual event is outstanding. I mean, it's better than most motocross races that I even go to. So if people are listening and have the opportunity to go down and actually check out a flat track race live, it's insane. And then where they put the stands, for the spectators, you just get, dusted out or, dirt thrown on you. Like, it's awesome. It's such a good show. And even just listening to the bikes and how fast you go, it's really quite an event to see live. Like, TV does not do justice if you're not there, kind of being on the fence and being able to see it. But, I had a chance to check out your social media and your website, and I see that your interest is ice racing. So Jim and I, before you got on here, we were talking about ice racing. I mean, I'm obviously Canadian, so when I'm not racing a motocross bike, I am ice racing. I got myself a CR500. Do you actually get to ice race a lot where you're from?
Yeah, living up here in Michigan, we, same thing.
You guys got a huge series.
Yeah, we, the last 2 years, I haven't done a whole lot of actual racing on the ice. I more or less go out and play with a lot of my buddies out on the lakes, like basically you said, in the wintertime, there's nothing to do. Everything's frozen and cold, so you might as well fill up the tires and go. So it's fun. It's a great time. This past season, I didn't get out very much at all. Just very busy with a lot of the international races. Another one of them that's really bringing flat track to life is the Troy Bayliss Classic over in Australia. That's a huge one, and I've got to attend that the last couple of years. And so been a traveling man in the off season, and it hasn't been really much of an off season the last couple of years. So I've been enjoying it, but it's been hectic and busy. But the ice racing is a lot of fun. You can go out there with a few buddies and just have a great time, in a short amount of time. The racing part of it just kind of gets a little old for me quick, because you go there and you make very, very small amount of laps, and you're there along the day. So you go out and ride with your buddies on a lake, and it's open, you ride as long and as hard as you want, and go and come as you want type of thing. So it's great. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, and one thing what's that?
Sorry,
Go for it, Amy.
Oh, I was just wondering if what's next for you? I know a lot of flat trackers use their flat tracking experience and racing to kind of climb up and move over to AMA sport bike racing. Like, do you see yourself transitioning that way, or do you want to, dominate and just maintain your position as, basically a flat track?
Well, unfortunately for American road racing, it actually seems to me that it took a little bit of a hit the last few years. And to be honest with you, I don't really see the American road racing being any really bigger than American flat track right now. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
they have television, week in and week out, which is good, and they got some little bit of more manufacturer support today.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, as much as American road racing went down, American flat track went up. So
mm-hmm.
To answer your question, no, at age 30 right now, for me to go and be a good road racer, I'm kind of a little bit behind the 8 ball as far as age goes. There was a thought at one point in time for me to go years back, and I'm really fortunate that I did not do that, because right as I almost would have made the transition was the time that the economy really fell out, and road racing really took a harder hit. Fortunately for flat track, we didn't really have much going back then already, so that when the economy hit, it didn't really affect us as much. But now it's coming up. I mean, manufacturers are starting getting more involved, and we're getting the American or the international races, and you have Mark Marquez and Valentino Rossi and Troy Bayliss and a lot of the big name road racers kind of coming back and riding flat track, and the social media is helping out, especially with X Games. It's huge. So it's to answer your question, I will not be a road racer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're still currently right now the king of flat track. Winning X Games is a huge feat, and especially, from what happened last year, you're breaking boundaries. It's awesome. It's really good to see.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, we're running short on time, Jerry, but I appreciate you taking the time to call in, my friend. Once again, congratulations on X Games Gold. And I know you guys' schedule is pretty packed. We'll have to catch up with you later on the season. I know, you guys are hitting the stretch now, and you got a big run for the championship coming.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody that's listening that wants to watch the coolest flat track race out there in the world, it's the last Saturday in June, which is June 25th at the Lima, Ohio, Allen County Fairgrounds. You can go to limahalfmile.com for tickets or information, but it's the best half mile and the best AMA race on the circuit. So if you guys are going to go and check out a race, come check out the Lima Half Mile.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jared. We'll touch base soon, my friend. Good luck the rest of the season, and congrats on the gold medal.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. We're going to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. More after this.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, waiting on our boy Street Bike Tommy to call in. But Jared Mees, I mean, you're a two-wheel person, Amy. I mean, how special is it to see any kind of motorcycle racing in the X Games? I think it's pretty big. I mean, there for a while, I know they had women's motocross in there for a couple of years, and then that went away, and then endurocross came and went. Now flat track's there. I mean, I would like to see them all, but I mean, I love at least having some motorcycle event there. That's racing based.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. It's weird seeing things come and go, but I mean, we do so many different types of motorsports, at least give everybody a little bit of an opportunity. I mean, endurocross is so fun to watch in X Games just because of how gnarly it really is, and it makes for a good show, that's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was so cool when they had the women's X Games in, and it was hard being a Canadian, like trying to get myself in there all the time. It was great. Nikki Keller, she was a former racer turned ambassador of all women's motorsports, and now she has a big part in X Games. And unfortunately, the year that was looking good for me, I broke my shoulder and my wrist, of course. So I actually went and watched X Games that year, hanging up in my sling, and that was the year Sarah Price was there, and she got her bronze medal. It was really cool to watch that one. Really gnarly. Like, I couldn't believe there was this huge drop in. This is when the X Games was in LA for the women's race, and they dropped in like from the arena, and then they had to go and hit this huge step up double jump thing. Like, it was insane. Like, I couldn't believe those girls, and they're like how brave that they were. I was like looking at that thing, eyeing it up. I'm like, nah, not for me. That's okay.
All right. Well, it looks like we're joined on the line by our good friend Street Bike Tommy, which now I hear we're changing the name. It's now officially Rally Car Tommy.
Rallycross Tommy.
Dirt Car.
Dirt Car Tommy.
Yeah.
All right, so it's officially been changed. I know me and the boys from the film crew, Dave and Matt, we were at the bar. Go figure, those two and me at the bar. But we were at the bar, and and this was after the first day when you're doing really good, and we're literally on Instagram, and we're checking out names because we're like, man, we need to start registering these so we have them for Tommy. So I don't know if they went ahead and did it, but you may have like 2 or 3 alias accounts too. So yeah, we had a lot of fun. But congratulations, dude. I mean, Amy and I were talking. Like I was going to be stoked if you finished the rally, but to come out and win, I mean that's nuts, buddy.
Dude, Honestly, I can't thank you enough, mainly because, this whole thing would have never happened without you. And the help from Bill Fogg, allowing me to run his car, and the team from ODD that helped me out all weekend, and my really, really amazing co-driver, Tracy. She did such a great job with running those notes, because I don't think she was expecting me to go as fast as I was because, the notes got jumbled up quite a few times. But she found her place super fast and got back on pace, and man, we were kicking some butt.
Yeah, I know. I
would love to see some onboard footage. I would love to see what was coming out of your mouth in that car. I just feel like it would have been the funniest onboard footage ever.
I know. I swear we rolled up at the end of one of the stages, and I can't remember. I think it was on day one, the end of one of the stages, and the grin on Tommy's face. I don't know, man. You could have been in a room in a cave, and I think we could have seen the whites of your teeth. It was pretty wild,
dude. That was actually the end of the first stage that I actually raced.
Yeah.
That was the end of stage 2, because stage 1 we had a red cross come out, so we did the entire first stage in transit. So you saw me at the end of stage 2, which was my actually first stage of rally ever. And even now, you can't wipe the smile off my face, man. Yeah. Literally the best weekend I've ever had in my whole entire life. And I can't help but think, man, is this what you guys feel like all the time? Is this like you and Amy? Is this how you feel like winning? What's that like?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a tremendous feeling. And I know. You know what I mean? My very first win ever, I mean, it was like you were saying, it was glowing, I mean, for weeks. I'm walking around. I still got the trophy hanging on the office here in the wall, you know what I mean? And it's it's an old junk plaque, you know what I mean? It's not like it's a pretty one, but I still got it hanging on the wall, It's you're proud of the very first one. More than anything, you're proud of that very first win. It's hey, I'm legitimate. I can actually do this,
Dude, I've been telling, literally, the only thing that I keep saying is that I keep walking around the house being hey, so what's it like living with a professional rally car driver? Dude, it's the funniest thing. I went to my dad's house yesterday. I'm like, hey, your son's a winning professional rally car driver. It's just, I can't stop saying it. I'm like, somebody pinch me.
Hey, but it's pretty cool. I mean, you kind of, went from being the guy who, overshot the foam pit on a street bike and, kind of the tour along the goofs of...
for sure the goof.
Totally. I didn't want to, step right on your parade or anything there, but,
No, you're not. No.
That's how you were known. That's how you built your name and your repertoire is just, being the funny, laughable guy. And now
100%.
It's almost like you can just shut everybody up. I just told him, I could not believe that you won. I'm impressed. I'm so but open so many more doors.
Yeah, I had a few people offer me rides over the weekend. I'm really excited how many people were actually so receptive to me driving and doing well.
Did your suit fit? How was the booty? We need to know.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I was actually impressed, dude. The suit fit. The suit fit good. Don't wash it; it might shrink.
No, we already did. It's hanging in my bedroom right now, drying.
All right. I got to ask though, because this was the thing. When I left you, what was it, Saturday night? I mean, it was right after podiums. You're covering Champagne, I left because I had to go to the airport at 3 a.m. But I know you had yet to talk to Trav. Now, have you seen Travis since all this went down? He put up a very nice Instagram post. I was, it was a really nice Instagram post about, your victory, and you had your hand out the window and everything else. But, have you seen him in the flesh yet?
No, I actually have not, because I actually beat him home, too.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know his motorhome blew up on the way home. It was just not a good weekend for Travis Pastrana. So not only does he crash out of the rally, Tommy beats him, but he's driving home in his motorhome and it breaks. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, I can joke around as much as I want, and that was a huge, it made me feel really good that I actually did beat Travis. But let's be honest, there's no way that I beat him. He beat himself because he wanted to beat me so bad. I believe that's probably what put him into that tree.
Yeah.
He was 22 minutes behind starting the rally because of a speeding violation, like in transit.
Yeah.
Something like that. And he was trying to make up ground, and then he crashed that one stage, and that put him about 27 minutes behind me. And then starting the second day, I kind of like went over and gave him the old elbow nudge, like, hey, buddy, 27 minutes is a lot of time. And, like, I could see the fire in his eyes. So, like, I knew that he'd be running hard. So when we were actually out on that stage, the very next stage, after I did that little elbow nudge, and then I saw a triangle on the course, I was like, okay, there's a red car, and then I come out of the corner, and there's Travis mooning me. I could not be happier. Like, that was the funniest thing that I've ever seen in my whole life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I do have to say, so through this whole event, Jolene, she's, her and I are texting, and I'm keeping her updated, how Tommy's doing, she wanted to know how Tommy was doing. And then at the end of the rally, I'm like, Tommy won. And she sends like all these freaking champagne bottles, the emojis and everything. She's all pumped. And she's like, well, how'd he win? Because I had told her you were running in second. And I told her, and I just texted, I said, Tommy, there was the girl that was in the lead, she got a 2.5-minute penalty. And I said, so Tommy inherited the lead with the stage to go. And Joe goes, whoa, wait. She's like, Tommy was getting beat by a girl? Like, I don't care about the win. This is more important of a story. She's like, Tommy was getting beat by a girl? And I'm like, man.
Hey,
I'm
Kiana,
like, yeah.
Yeah. Kiana was she was going really, really well. And we were back and forth all day.
Female drivers or racers.
No, Kiana's legit.
No,
she's legit. I am not knocking Kiana. That girl can wheel.
Yeah, she was crushing it. Because we were like I said, we were back and forth all day, and coming up on that 20-miler, the last thing that I wanted to do was push the car extremely hard and really sacrifice second, because I pretty much had second place in the back because of DNFs. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of, I'm gonna feather it, and I really did that last stage really slow, and then to find out when she got that penalty, because of how slow I was going, she on that one stage she got a 2-minute something lead on me, but she had a 3-minute penalty. So I was informed of that once I got back to the pits, and I couldn't have been more ecstatic. I mean, she definitely really actually won the race by time, but hey, I'll take a cheap win. Oh man.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, Jolene, man, she's always been, one of my biggest supporters no matter what I do, and she was definitely texting me all day, and I felt really bad that I wasn't getting back to her because more than anybody that racing takes up the entire day. I couldn't believe actually that my first exposure. I was like, wow, I can't believe these dudes really, and chicks, go out there and sacrifice so much. I mean, I was dog tired.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Like,
he's gnarly.
It wears you out. It definitely does. So I got to ask. We only got like a minute left, but what's up next for Street Bike Tommy? Obviously, I know you're going back on tour. What else? Do you have any plans though, as far as racing, or is it back to life as normal?
Well, it depends on if Subaru calls me about that open class. So I mean,
they need to fill Trav's seat, so Tommy's got point, huh? Oh, geez.
No, I really, as much as I can, if I get any offers, I'm a guy of opportunity, and if anybody says, here's a car, you better believe I'm going to be in it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Tommy. Once again, congrats on the win, my friend. And,
yeah, man, congrats.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk
again
soon.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Take it easy, Tommy.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, you too, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle. Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, wrapping up yet another one. And I don't know, it kind of feels almost like a bummer when we wrap it up because we got to wait another week to do another one, right, Houde?
Yeah, I know. So we just have like Tommy on every week to have his own segment because he's just hilarious to talk to. Yeah,
we were actually, I was talking with the Nitro Circus guys, and I'm like, you know, He's a very good talker. I mean, he's a funny guy. I'm like, Tommy needs his own podcast. Like, I could totally see the Street Bike Tommy podcast.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, I think we're just touching the tip of the iceberg with what Tommy could do. But yeah, no, I think we got to figure something out. Like, I'd definitely be open to having him on once a month or something like that for, like, you know, his own little segment or something. I think it'd be kind of fun.
But, yeah, no, I know, definitely.
Yeah, so, a lot of events coming up. We got more Torque, World Rallycross, Ken Block doing battle over there in Europe. We got Pro Motocross. I know we didn't even get to talk about that today, but lots of stuff upcoming. What do you got on tap for you in the near future, Amy?
Not too much. Just been crushing it in the gym, slaying it. I got Summer Smash coming up for first form June 16th till the 20th. So that's, you know, the one big, huge event in my whole fitness side of my world every year. So I'm excited to go see everybody. I have no idea what's in store. Every year they have something different and crazier planned. So I can only imagine. And last year Summer Smash being such a success. Like I don't even know what we're walking into. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that I always love seeing the pictures from there and hearing you talk about it. And I don't know, maybe after it's done, we ought to get Andy back on again to kind of chat because you guys always, I mean, they go all out for that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got to give a shout-out to Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish Rally School, MTX Audio, Terracross, Blue Resort and Casino. Give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on Instagram and Twitter. It's at AmyHood71. If you're not following us already, you should be. Both of us on Facebook as well. DownAndDirtyShow.com for all those back episodes. And don't forget to download our app, available on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, and the Amazon Kindle store. And, man, it's signing off for this week. You got any closing comments, Amy?
No, just, all our fellow racers out there, we did talk the importance and how serious, the sport really is. So just be careful, take it easy, and ride smart or drive smart wherever you are.
Sounds good. So good way to close it. We'll see you next week here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.